to this computer. Okay, and at the moment, you can see my screen. Let me just, screen sharing is not the screen I want. We want to stop sharing. Let's just start again. Share this one. Okay, welcome. All right, so I taught forensic accounting for the first time last year, and the great thing about getting someone that teaches something for the first time is that I am closer to your learning or your struggles or your interest or your concern about what you need to learn. If I was teaching this for 10 or 15 years, I might be falling asleep while I'm teaching. Do you know what I mean? But because I am early into this, I am excited about this as well. And this is an amazing subject. I'm wondering why I didn't even teach this sooner. So let's get into this, shall we? That's my background. Do have a look at my YouTube channel, because for some reason, if you cannot get into the LMS, you can go to my YouTube, and all of I think there's 31 videos. They are all there in my YouTube channel. Okay. So I think that's a great, you need to have backup. Like sometimes your mobile phone, it might be easier for you to play a YouTube video than it is to play an LMS video. Do you understand what I'm saying here? All right. So use it if you feel. I've been in over 10 institutions in the past 30 years of my career. I just came back to Australia 2 years ago, and I've spent most of my career in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Malaysia. Okay, so all good stuff. Let me just double check. Can you see my slides?
No.
Now you can see them. Is that right?
Yes, I can.
Great. Okay, so let's get into this as we go through. All right. So I've spent a lot of time in China and Hong Kong visiting factories. So I'm always interested in how businesses work, in how they fail. And I think the closest thing to my factory experience and fraud is I've got heaps of data on supplier payment fraud, which is a project I've been working on for a couple of years now. And that's where you order something from a supplier from another country, not just China, it could be any other country, and you get a box of rocks and they take your money and you cannot contact them again. And that's a major fraud. One of the areas we cover later on in forensic accounting. I've spent recently working with KPMG Singapore on two major reports in the last 2 years. One is on the global sourcing shift, and the other one on scope 3 emissions measurement. So I like to do projects that are of interest to business and industry, and I don't normally stay on one topic in what I do. This is exciting. All right. The good news for you studying accounting, I want to encourage you, is that if you look at the top 5 consulting firms here, they are earning close to $200 billion in annual revenue, and that was last year. And so even though they are not hiring as fast as they have in the past because of AI, they are still hiring, especially if you are willing to work hard and if you're willing to study and get the A's and B's in most of your accounting subjects. There is absolutely no reason why you cannot find a position in a sizable accounting firm. I'm talking about a top 20 accounting firm. You don't have to have the big 4. My first accounting job after 23 interviews back in the 80s was with Manjud Chartered Accountants, and they were a top 20 firm. They weren't a big four firm, all right? So don't always think that top big four is your only opportunity, all right? Think about where you'll be in 10 years' time. This is very, very important. Okay, I want you to think in terms of the following when we're teaching. The most important things that you're going to learn this semester, given it is your first unit on fraud, is the terminology and concepts. And you may have a little bit of understanding of applications, but it will take you many, many years of experience to become an expert, to become a fraud investigator, to become a fraud trainer. But you got to start somewhere, and this unit is the perfect place to begin. All right. Here is what students have tended to say in the past when I asked them, why did they choose an accounting major? Where do you want to be in 10 years' time? Why forensic accounting? Maybe some of you are in these positions here. You're thinking, oh, that sounds like me, or maybe you have another idea. Any comment from our participants here? Like, I wanted to get a job as an accountant, and I wanted to earn 2 to 3 times per capita. Like when I was studying undergraduate at Ballarat University back in the 80s, the per capita annual income was 20,000 Australian dollars a year. And so my life goal was become an accountant and earn $40,000 a year. Well, now the per capita income in Australia, I think, is 60 or 70,000. And so there's no reason why you cannot have a goal of earning 200,000 or 250,000. And it is very important that you set a very high goal. Put your hand up if you agree with that or disagree. What do you think? Mitchell, Sandish, Harry?
Yeah, we agree. I agree at least.
Yeah, because see what happens, and some people will say, look, I don't want to be hungry. Money doesn't drive me. I want to be happy. I just want to earn 100,000. No, it's not about that. Maybe you do in the end, but what I'm saying is that if you set a very, very high goal, 200, 250,000, it actually mentally, it helps to motivate you more. It helps you to make you more hungry. And maybe for me, at my age, I don't need to be hungry. But for you at your age, you need to be hungry, and you can be hungry. And so one way of enhancing your hunger for study, seeking out good positions, is to set a high standard for what type of salary you would like to earn in 5, 6, 7 years' time. And there's no reason why you can reach 200,000 if you really worked hard in 10 years from graduating. And so just want to, some of my talking is to help motivate you, not just to tell you everything that is on the exam, okay? So I hope you don't mind these conversations. All right. So later on, you could go into the forms and fill that out yourself. All right. How do you score? How do you score well in this unit? Do the blue and then do the green. Okay. When we do these, I love pyramids. I find pyramids are the best way to convey understanding. Why? Because it conveys a sequence, and it conveys what is important and what is not important. In other words, if you want to get to the top, you must do the blue. Are you with me here? All right. If you must do the blue and you must do the green. All right. And if you do the blue and the green, then you can focus on figuring out the orange. Okay. And you'll see that pattern in a lot of things I talk about. All right. So let's go through quickly about the forensic accounting unit. This is your first assessment is going to be for you to create a single slide. Now, this is mine, so I don't want you to copy this, but this is my one page to show you this is everything that we're going to cover in this unit, from detecting fraud prevention, detection, to investigation, to financial statement, and then scams and things like that. And you can see the pyramid and how I set things up is quite common throughout the learning material. And I hope you like that. All right. In week 4, you're going to be asked to create a 150-second video reflecting on what you learned in the first 3 or 4 weeks. Okay. And you can reflect on anything, but you need to have a slide to help visualize this reflection as well. All right. There are different websites to fraud. I would encourage you to check out the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners website. Very, very famous because that's the main certifying body in the USA. Hence, if you want to study fraud in Australia, you're going to follow how they do it in the USA as well. For example, the textbook that we have for this unit is a USA-based textbook, and it is a very, very, very good textbook. I would encourage you to download a report to the nations. This report is amazing because it tells you everything around the world, what is happening, okay? And you can explore everything about fraud, and it is just amazing, amazing report. And you can download the report here, and it's got so many infographics that help you understand the whole landscape of fraud. And there's a favorite one that I will show you later on, but I would encourage all of you to download the report to the nations. This report is just mind-blowing, and it is free. And look at that, infographics about fraud around the world. And here is my favorite slide. Like everything we're going to teach you this semester, all the different types of fraud are on this one page. And when I see a one page that says everything, I go, wow, this is just amazing. All right. Why do I need 10 pages when one page can give me the whole picture? All right. So that's why this report, I encourage all of you to download a report to the nations. All right. So what are we going to do to score well? Number 1, you're going to have to do a 2.5-minute video and a 1-page PowerPoint slide by the end of week 4. All right. So that's a reflective. Okay. Now, I want to, what is the reason for that? And the second assessment, you're going to have to do a case presentation with a group of 4. So you need to find 3 other people in your online group. And then present as a group of 4 in this session. This session we have today that is scheduled for today. You will have to do that at one stage between week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'll set out the schedule, and your group will pick a time in that schedule, and you have to come and present in the Zoom session. Okay. And then those in class, they will have to attend the class. All right.
Sir,
Yes.
just touching up on that, will the presentation be at this time, 5 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. All good.
Yeah. It will be, and we'll probably, for the online, because there will only be 5 groups, because there's only 20 online, then there'll be lots of scope for you to switch and mix and match about when you want to present, because we have 5 hourly slots, right? And there's only 5 groups to present. And so it's possible that just one group present each week, or in one week, we might have 2 groups presenting, and another week, no one presents, depending on your best availability. You hear? Do you understand that? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So quite flexible with you getting this in place. So I don't want you to feel it's an extra bit of uncertainty that this assessment is the way it is. I think you'll find it works even better than you think. The hard work that you have to do is, as a group, you're going to have to find another time for 1, 2, 3 weeks before the presentation to meet, do the assignment, get the material together, and then you're going to have to present and practice presenting together 3 or 4 times. So by the time you get to present in your designated slot and you only have 10 minutes, you present very, very well, and then you score very, very well. Are you with me here? But my advice is, don't let your official presentation be your first presentation as a group. You need to rehearse. I do the same. I rehearse myself whenever I did a major industry presentation to 300 industry people in Sydney in June, and I practiced the day before. I practiced 2 days before and 3 days before. And I spent at least 2 months before that presentation getting the materials together. So these presentations take a lot of work, but you learn a lot in doing that process. Okay. All right. Reflective video assessment, the details I just went through, 150 seconds. And you have to, what I'm asking you to do is you address 2 of the following 3 questions. The first one, beyond the why, beyond the how. The second one, beyond the textbook. The third one, your evolving perspective. So you have to pick out 2 of these 3 and then reflect on these based on your learning in the first 3 weeks. Okay. Notice that in the second assessment, I've put down 4% for participation, question, answer, feedback. That is, I'm expecting you to attend for all of the weeks from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to number 1. Maybe it's not your week presenting, but at least do attend, do ask questions, and do support the other presenters. You with me here? All right. And therefore 26% of the remaining 30% becomes your performance mark on the day of your presentation. All right. Okay, here I will set out, each group will choose one of these 15 cases, and they will be sequenced according to the week. In other words, the first 5 cases are more about weeks 6 and 7, and then 6 to 11 cases more about maybe 7 and 8. The last few cases more weeks 9 and 10. So their content is matching the different weeks of the topics that are set out in the subject outline. Okay, good. All right, so let's have a look. So what I'm asking you to do, and you can start doing that today, is by week 3, select your group, okay, 4 per team. Then I will set up a Google Sheets document for you to register. Now, maybe you find 3 of you. Well, then put your team in as 3, and then I might have to come along and say, well, okay, here's a 4th person that needs to join your team, okay? So I reserve the right to select and place students if you are unable to find 4 in your team, okay? And it's important that you have fun in that learning process as a team, okay? You try and make and see the fun side of working together in a team, okay? And nominate your group beside one of 15 cases in a Google Sheets document. So I'll be setting that up in the next week or 10 days for you to do that. Okay. All right. And then final exam, 50%. Okay. All right. The textbook, if you buy it, there's a new version available, and that will be the 7th edition. I know it's expensive to buy, but access to it, the e-textbook, I would highly encourage that. And why? Because you can download the app on your phone, and you click on the app, you click on a textbook, and you can ask the textbook to read to you like audio. And then when you're doing the washing, you clean the house, or you're at the gym or driving, you can have the textbook read to you. And that's what I did when I was learning this unit last year. I had the textbook read end to end to me 4 times, which is about 80 hours. I think it takes about 20 hours for it to read from end to end. And then I ended up making 9.5 hours of video. And you probably say, well, I don't want the textbook now. I just want to listen to the video. Well, my encouragement to you is to go through my videos, but don't just listen to them once. Listen to them twice, 3 times, then 4 times, and you will be amazed on the 3rd and 4th time how understanding and knowledgeable you become on this subject. And you'll find, wow, it is much easier and interesting than I first thought. So I would encourage you to listen to the video, watch the video more than once. Okay, more than once. All right, enough of that. Let's get back into the Albright. Right, so here's the nature of the fraud. It represents 5% of the world economy. If the world economy is 105 trillion, then fraud is making up over 5 trillion, which is just a ginormous amount, which means that if you become very good at this topic, it is very easy for you to become a consultant in this area, to become a fraud investigator. to become a fraud trainer in an organization. It is an amazing, amazing career. What is fraud? It is not bank robbery. It is a deception. Bank robbery is something that's done by force. You may be using a gun or a knife or whatever, and people see you stealing the money. Whereas fraud, people may not see you in the theft act because you are concealing your theft, and also you are converting your takings without anyone knowing. So fraud is not bank robbery because there is no deception. Charles Ponzi, that was at the turn of the last century, but the most recent one for this century was Bernie Madoff, who stole over $60 billion. Well, they did get a lot of that back. In the end, he lost his investors $18 billion, just 18 billion, okay? Not 18 million, $18 billion. Okay, so that was the big thing this century so far. But remember, fraud requires confidence. That is the single most ingredient that is required for someone to deceive you. When you have confidence in them, you're more likely to be blindsided. You're more likely to be led astray. You're more likely to be taken advantage of. Okay. So that's what we mean. And we talk about different categories of fraud, and that's what we're going to be doing in the coming weeks, where we have asset misappropriation, we have fraudulent financial statements, which is really management fraud, and then we have corruption, conflict of interest, kickbacks, illegal gratuities, and extortion. Finally, employee fraud, which is probably most interesting, is skimming, larceny, and disbursement fraud. But if you ask me which of these make up most of the fraudulent funds stolen from organizations around the world, let me ask you now, which one do you think? Number 1, 2, or 3? If you can put that in the chat room now. Put your hand up if asset misappropriation you think is the biggest culprit or type of fraud out there in terms of financial monies lost. Which one's the biggest one? Harry, you're saying fraudulent financial statements. What do others think? Corruption. Okay. Someone says number 1, asset misappropriation. Well, actually, it is, Harry, you're correct. It is management fraud. They are so much greater than conflict of interest or asset misappropriations. Amazing. And we can classify fraud in many other ways. But as I said before, this is the best picture. And I would ask all of you, if you've got a printer, print out this. Just print out this page and carry it with you. And look at that each week. So you know that where we are each week and what we're talking about. And this is kind of like your map. This is your map for the whole semester. All right. Corruption, asset misappropriation, which is employee fraud, and financial statement fraud. This is the big one. This is many more times larger than asset misappropriation or corruption. Okay. Types of fraud. Let me just And that, let's get back to what we need to do. Have a look at the in-class questions. That is the short case 1 and the income statements. Have a look at short case 3, where I want you need to be able to, for these 6 cases, say whether the first one is an employee embezzlement, management fraud, investment scam, vendor fraud, customer fraud, miscellaneous fraud. You need to know this week, okay? You need to be able to tell the difference between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, okay? So employee embezzlement is, as I said, is everything other than corruption or management fraud. But you've got these outside the organization frauds, investment scams, which you hear about from week to week in the Australian media. We hear about vendor fraud, which is upstream. We hear about customer fraud. For example, you might buy something online and you receive the garment or you receive something, and then you write back to the e-commerce platform and say, oh, the garment is the wrong size, or the battery doesn't work in the lint filter you sent me. And then they might say, oh, look, keep the product. The transaction costs of you sending it back and us sending you a new one is not worth it, and we will give you your money back. Like, customers do this. They do this deliberately. The dress might even be the right size, but they write back and say it's the wrong size, and they get to keep the dress. That's customer fraud. Okay, so I don't want you to think that merchants are the only bad people out there. Customers can be bad too. And vendor fraud is sort of like supplier fraud. When, for example, I buy something from a supplier and they send me a box of rocks, and then I ring up, hey, Mr. Supplier, I sent you the money. You sent me a box of rocks. Can you send me the thing I ordered or give me my money back? And no one's answering the phone. I send an email. No one's answering the email. They turned out to be fictitious. They turned out to not exist. So that's an example of vendor fraud, where people hold themselves out to be a vendor, but in the end, they scam you. And that's different from an investment scam. An investment scam is like a Ponzi scheme. Give me the money, I will make you 20% per year, guaranteed. Just leave the money with me, and a few years later, you've got nothing to show for the money you gave. All right. So understand these different types of fraud, I think, is very important. And then you can look at these cases. Now, it's very easy for you to take this material, and you should be able, if you have the textbook, it's even easier, but you can actually ask AI to give you the answers to these if you want to check your answers, okay? So I don't want you to feel that, oh, where's the answers? I can't learn if I don't have the answers. You can use AI for this purpose as well. We don't have time to play Kahoot, but what I encourage you to is you can play that Kahoot. You can go into that Kahoot. I don't think this is the one that we set up, but you can go into the Kahoot and play yourself. What do I mean? Where do you go? If you go, what I suggest you do is, if you go to sign up to Kahoot like that, just sign up, and then look for my channel in the Kahoot. What's my channel? Here it is here. It's going to sell me something. I don't want that. All right, there's my channel here. My name is Neil O'Connor. If you type that in, it will bring you to my channel, and it will see my, it will see it will see my library, okay? And you can see I've got lots of stuff here, but you can go and have a look at your fraud. Is there a week 1 of fraud in my channel? If you click on forensic accounting, you'll see there's all the weeks of the Kahoot. And you can go and play that Kahoot yourself. You can click on that and you can actually go and play. All right. And you can see I've had over 37 plays of chapter 1 already. And you can go and play that. And if you have trouble, you can contact me. But how do you find me if you just come to Kahoot? You just type in forensic accounting, like that. All right. And you search and you just look for O'Connor. There you go, Neil O'Connor. You see that? And if you click on O'Connor, it'll take you to me. It'll take you to content, and you click on forensic accounting, and there you have all the chapters there. All right. So this is another way to help your learning in this unit. So we're near the top of the hour, and what I've told you is I've given you a little bit of things to think about, how you can learn better, and what you need to do to get going. For now, I would say 3 things you need to think about. Number 1, watch my videos, okay? And read through the exercises that are in the LMS. If you find the LMS hard to navigate on your mobile phone, then you look up my YouTube. Let's find my YouTube channel. And that is Tech Asia with Dr. Neil O'Connor. Can you all see this? Yes or no? Harry, can you see this?
Yeah, we can.
All right. And then if you go down to forensic accounting, then all of the videos are here. Okay. And let me give you a hint in terms about, you think about where should I invest my money if I had $100? If you subscribe to Yahoo, I've been subscribing for 5 years now. The good thing about if you subscribe to Yahoo, you can actually watch all of these ad-free. And then furthermore, you can then download these videos onto your phone, and therefore you can watch it anytime you like. And so you've got learning at your fingertips. All right. I'm not sure if ads pop up if you don't subscribe, but I'm just telling you that I think the subscription rate is only 10 or 15 Australian dollars a month. And you have to have that for 3 months, right? Yeah. And so there's 9.5 hours, and this is probably the best video you're going to get on forensic accounting because number 1, it's recent, and number 2, I've taken the PowerPoint slides from the textbook, and then I've added in my own stuff.
Areas.
So I've added in my own stuff, my own diagrams, so you can see like that, and more diagrams that I developed myself. Like these diagrams are not in the textbook. So well worth watching once, twice, 3 times. Let me just stop there. Any questions? I'll just stop sharing too.
Yeah, I've got one question. Is the final exam going to be conducted online?
It will be online and it will be fully invigilated. Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Questions from others? Pino, what question on your mind?
I have no questions at the moment, but just one regarding the PowerPoint, the one page PowerPoint. Is that just making the 4 weeks that we've learned so far, like you displayed earlier? We just make a big like web of that, of everything that we've learned?
No, I want you to be creative, Pino. Let your reflection emphasize or de-emphasize how you see what you've learned. Do you understand? Keeping in mind, you've got to choose 2 of the 3 questions. You with me?
Okay, yes.
So if someone chooses 1 and 2, they're going to have a different reflection than someone who picks 2 and 3, or someone that picks 1 and 3, if you know what I mean.
I do know, yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, you don't have to cover everything in that slide, but it's a way of getting you to creatively think about, yeah, what is it that stands out, or what is it that helps me to understand this animal, and then go from there. Good question, Pino. Thank you. Murphy, question from you, please.
Nothing particularly to the coursework so far. I was just curious about what your favorite time of work was over the years.
My favorite time of work.
What was your favorite thing you've done in your career?
Oh, visiting factories. Uh, uh, if you ask me where would I love to be now, in a factory in China, helping the owner improve the operations. Because number one, you get a feeling that you can make a difference. And number two, when I come back into the classroom and I start talking about the experience, and if you look at my YouTube, I've got over 40 videos of factories because I've visited over 40 of them over a 5-year period before I came back to Australia. And then I use those videos in my teaching, and the students go, wow, this is so much more interesting than a textbook. And so, yeah, good question. Thank you, Murphy. That makes sense?
Yeah, good stuff. No, I work in a factory, so no, I'm all about it.
Oh, good. Then I need to visit your factory then.
It's a bit
Where,
cold.
where's your factory?
It's in Laverton. It's a supply chain for Coles, so we move food, so it's a fridge and freezer.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, cold storage.
Yeah, so everything that's in the fridge or
Yeah,
freezer in a Coles,
yeah,
except a couple of things, comes from this building.
very interesting. So I remember I was teaching at Monash University in Malaysia for 5 years, and I was teaching supply chain. And one of the groups did a case study on cold storage where the refrigerator truck driver, in order to save power, would turn off the refrigerant air conditioning just after they left one warehouse, and they'll turn it on just before they would arrive at the other end, just so they could save some energy for some reason. I don't know what.
Yeah, they run off diesel, so they would just be saving diesel.
Yeah, and this is what they were doing, and I'm thinking, unbelievable. We need
Yeah, Malaysia
monitoring
would be
of the
terrible. It'd be too
temperature.
hot there to be turning it off.
Exactly. Murphy, we need to talk more. You've got my interest. All right. I hope you join us next week. And I need to get out and see your factory. Arianta, any questions? Okay, Mitchell, anything?
Nothing yet.
Okay, all right. Abdallah, anything?
Oh, no, not at the moment.
All right. Look, I know you signed up for online, so you know you want minimum disturbance from me, but I really do appreciate you jumping in each week. It will make a difference in smoothing out any uncertainties you have in your learning, especially for the first half of this semester. So do try your best to join us next week. And just for next week only, we'll be running it at a Monday night at 8 p.m. And it's only because I'm occupied on the Tuesday, but for the weeks 3 onwards, it will be Tuesday at 5 p.m. for all other weeks. Okay, and I'll put a note to that in the LMS. Okay. Thank you all for joining us, and I will see you in the LMS. If you want to write in the announcements, you're most welcome to. Now's the time to write emails about questions about different aspects of the course and things like that. Happy to hear back from you, and have a good evening.
See you, sir. Thank you.
Later, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye bye and see you in the class.
Oh,
Dora, bye bye.
thank you, Abdallah. Cheers.